Let's go through this question now. They are asking which statement is always true for both diffusion and osmosis. And the correct answer is B. Diffusion is the movement of molecules from an area of higher concentration to lower concentration. Osmosis is a specialized form of diffusion, where water molecules move from an area of higher water potential, lower solute concentration, to an area of lower water potential, higher solute concentration. Both processes share a common feature. They occur down a concentration gradient, meaning molecules move naturally from a higher concentration to a lower concentration. Then, in the next question, it asks, out of all these options, which statements about diffusion are correct? And the correct answer is option B. As diffusion occurs when molecules move from a higher to a lower concentration, following the concentration gradient. However, it is not limited to living systems, it also happens in non-living environments, such as the spread of perfume in the air. Additionally, the rate of diffusion does not slow down with increasing temperature, instead, it speeds up as molecules gain more kinetic energy. Therefore, the correct choice is B. Then we have another question which asks, how do molecules move into and out of cells? And some ways in which molecules move in and out of cells are listed. 1 says, molecules move from a higher concentration to a lower concentration. 2 says, molecules move from a lower concentration to a higher concentration. 3 says, molecules move from a higher concentration to a lower concentration across a partially permeable membrane. Which statement is correct? The correct answer is D. As the statement 1 describes diffusion, as it involves molecules moving down the concentration gradient from high to low. Statement 2 describes active transport, which moves molecules against their concentration gradient from low to high and requires energy. And statement 3 describes osmosis as involvement of partially permeable membrane is mentioned. Therefore, D is the correct answer as 2 clearly identifies active transport while 3 refers to osmosis. Now, this is another question. Here the diagram illustrates a typical plant cell that has been exposed to a concentrated salt solution for 10 minutes. You have to answer which of these numbered structures are partially permeable. And option D is correct because number 2 represents the cell membrane, which is plasmolysed in this case. The cell membrane is the partially permeable structure in a plant cell, allowing selective movement of substances. Therefore, option D is the correct choice. Next, the question asks which of the following row applies to active transport. The correct answer is C. Active transport moves substances against their concentration gradient from lower to higher concentration using energy, ATP. Row 1 describes diffusion, which is not active transport. Row 2 correctly explains the process, and row 3 also correctly states that ion uptake by root hairs is an example of active transport. However, in the last row, water uptake is incorrectly listed, as it is not an example of active transport. Thus, C is the correct answer. The question asks which process is responsible for moving nitrate ions into the cell. The correct answer is A. Active transport. Nitrate ions are moving against their concentration gradient, from a lower concentration outside the cell to a higher concentration inside, which requires energy, ATP. This process is known as active transport. We've now completed our discussion on Chapter 3, including past papers and lectures. The link to the notes and compiled questions is provided in the description below. You can access them directly from the description or the pinned comment. I hope my lectures were helpful and made your revision easier. Feel free to share your thoughts, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you.